So after structured thinking, what we're going to look at next is the idea of communication. So as a product manager, a lot of the stuff that you do is actually around communication. So when I say communication, I don't necessarily mean just talking, being nice, knowing how to speak English. But basically, as a product manager, the main way for you to get anything done is via communication, which could be through informal meetings or status updates, but also documents like product documents or emails, Slack, or even like face to face. So, what entails communication is not necessarily just talking to get the job done, but actually the way you use communication as a tool. So imagine that you're working with stakeholders and they wanted you to build a new feature. Like they come up with an idea and say, why don't you build it for us? As a product manager, it would be easy to just say, okay, my boss tells me I need to build this, so I'll build it. But in the end, you're responsible for the outcome of the product. And most often than not, we actually have to say no to requests. So communication is also about the art of saying no, or the art of communicating your vision to make sure that stakeholders are aligned. So if such a request comes in, what you would probably want to do is understand the stakeholders' motivation. Like, why would they want you to build this product? And what is, for example, their fear that would happen if you don't build this product or feature? And then you would have to prioritize these requests. So basically, it's your responsibility as a product manager to set expectations. So if you're not going to do it, you actually have to say you're not going to do it, and you need to communicate why. I've seen junior product managers, what they do when a request comes in that they don't know what to do with it is they'll say, okay, thanks, I'll put it in the backlog. That's actually a big meme out there that product managers always say, I'll put it in the backlog, but then they never look at it. But that stakeholder is then expecting you to eventually look at it. They're following up instead of you just saying, no, we're not going to do it, and being able to communicate strongly why. But if you will be able to do it, just look into it later. Also let your stakeholders know. And you make sure you need to prioritize the request before you bring it to your engineering team. Because communication does not only mean communicating to your stakeholders, it means communicating also with your actual product team, engineering team, the people that are building your product. The amount of information that you communicate through them really determines also their focus, the success of the product. If any request just goes unfiltered to them and you ask them to figure it out, you ask for any request to basically say, hey, can you tell me, is this doable? Then you're wasting their time. You should have already been the one to say, we're not even going to look at it. So how you do that is basically to communicate through systems. I say product managers will often feel like a broken record, like having to repeat the same thing again. What happens to me a lot of time is that I say to a product or a feature no to one person, and then the next person comes to me and asks the same thing, and then the next, and then the next. Like there's some idea that for some reason everyone wants to implement, and I still think it's not a good idea. We still shouldn't do it. So how do I solve that in that case is to basically use public documents like roadmaps or strategy documents or anything else that allows me to constantly and proactively recommunicate my product strategy, my direction, my priorities, and the reason why we're not doing certain things. And that basically means communication happens automatically and it happens scalably. It does not depend on me being there and saying things. I can let those documents speak for myself, and everyone is aligned and on the same page.